the Democrats' printing of money in the trillions, and the lockdowns. All three, the creation of the left. You can say the Putin invasion, except for the fact that you have to confront reality, and that is that the energy prices were skyrocketing prior to the invasion of Ukraine. That has exacerbated matters in both food and energy. However, they were not the causes. The three I said to you were. Under Donald Trump, energy was actually quite cheap because he allowed fracking and because he allowed pipelines, etc. But the sick, rich whites, amazing that I use the word white, but I don't know, I'm sure there are, but I don't know any blacks who are among the major environmental activists. For whatever reason, it appeals to the bored, wealthy, secular. Who is the guy? Like Tom Steyer. Yeah, like Tom Steyer. He personifies, he and Al Gore, these people who strike me as empty, truly empty, devoid of meaning, searching for meaning. They have a lot of money and they need to know what they can do to make an impact on the world. People love to make an impact on the world. It's a big yearning of a lot of people. It's not a bad yearning, but it's a very dangerous yearning. Because the likelihood of a big impact being negative rather than positive, the odds are about 100 to 1 that it will be the former, that it will be a negative rather than a positive. The energy crisis in Germany, look, it's perfect. Look at the prices in France versus Germany. France gets 60% of its electricity from nuclear power. But Germany, under the, what's the adjective I'm looking for? Irresponsible, even destructive governance of Angela Merkel, decided to get rid of all nuclear reactors. She panicked after the Japanese meltdown caused by a tsunami. To the best of my knowledge, nobody actually died from radiation. Many died from the tsunami. I mean, it was the classic perfect storm. And you had a meltdown of a nuclear reactor. And they probably lost more people in Japan that year from bee stings. The energy prices are a direct result of the Greens. Printing money is a direct result of the Democratic Party. Without question, Republicans went along with some of it, but they stopped the worst, the bring back better. If you think inflation is bad now, you should send a thank you letter to Senator Manchin of West Virginia, who single-handedly, in a profile in courage, stopped the Democratic Party from further damaging this country. And then the lockdowns. What I said in April of 2020, it's on the record, and it was widely mocked for it, which is par for the course, that the left is very good at mockery. Then you don't have to deal with what people actually argue. The lockdowns were a catastrophe. A catastrophe. A major reason for the economic disruption in the world, not to mention the psychological disruptions, the suicide rates among young people skyrocketing. You realize that under the age of 65, I think starting with the age of 5, more Americans died of suicide than of COVID. Anthony Fauci thought that didn't he think the Chinese lockdowns were a good idea? There's a tremendous totalitarian envy on the part of leftists in the West. Thus, you have Justin Trudeau as a great admirer of Fidel Castro, and you have many, many Democrats like Anthony Fauci who think the Chinese really got it right on lockdowns. If Donald Trump were still president, Putin probably would not have invaded Ukraine. He didn't invade while Trump was president. That's a fact, not a speculation. I asked Neil Ferguson, one of the greatest historians alive today, on my show a couple of months ago, and I asked it, and I recall vividly my own thinking. I have no idea what Neil Ferguson, formerly of Harvard and now at Stanford at the Hoover Institution, will answer. I had no idea. In fact, if I had to bet, I think I probably would have bet that he would have said it wouldn't matter. I asked him, if Donald Trump were president, would Putin have invaded Ukraine? He didn't even have to think and said no. I was quite taken aback. That is my suspicion, and it is also his.